I got 19% on my phone. I'm going live here. That's what it do. That's what it do. What it do. I think this is gonna be a good angle. Fuck the other angles, man. Like, nah, bitch. It's gonna be right here. It's the reflector here to reflect, but you motherfuckers choose to neglect. So, as you can see by the motherfucking thumbnail, the picture, and the actual title, this video is simply about the quote of connecting with your higher self, or just your higher self, period. If you've heard that rhetoric on the internet or these social media, these social media apps, my bad, or these social media platforms like TikTok or these short video platforms, you know, where they have the short video, or just anything you read off of, or you just hear it in conversation where you talk to people, or you might find out that, you know, there's an actual higher self for yourself. And, you know, usually people connected to religion where this higher self will guide you to goodness and love type of shit. And that's just one aspect of life to me, you know. And that's what it is actually too. But to me, I never even considered love even that important in my life, to be honest. So, and I see why, because, you know, the world is ran over love when it comes down to it, especially the type of spirit that you are in a human body, and how you choose to view your perspectives and create a frame of mind, a vibe after that, and you start actually paying attention and giving energy and giving routine energy to it. So like, you keep thinking about it over and over again in some way. All right, but it's like the same pattern of how you think. It ain't about exactly what you're thinking about at the time. No, it's like when you conjure it up and see what everything is working towards, finds your mind. So, dealing with that, that's what people start getting into when they start talking about like God, or when they start talking about the highest conscious source, or not really source, because if you ask me, source is more of the thing that connects us all, and how you can draw out your own perspective, like how you can draw your own perspective out within like the subconscious that we're all connected to. Because for it to be a field of reality and for it to be conveyed, even have the thought of it, even have the feeling of it in the first place, it has to be connected in this type of, or this vibe, this circumstance we in, this parameter we in right now. Or just the perspective we in right now as far as this water cycle, water bubble that we call Earth and shit. So, you know, when you talk about connecting the source and shit, that's something else. But, or God. See, God is always, remember, it's always from everybody's perspective. Just like the Bible says, everybody reads it from their own perspective, right? Now take that with the whole, damn, this motherfucker water bottle. Fuck, my dog fucked this water bottle up. Fucked it up. I need this stuff. When you sit there and actually, or when you actually are actively doing things and you end up connecting with your higher self per se, that's just purely to say you connected beyond how you feel about the situation, the world, so the place of where you at mentally, not physically what you say in reality. Or sometimes you can conflate your mental with the reality, but either way, it's still separate. So when you think, and then you think that has something to do with some type of source or something that you're connected to, it does, but it's still something disconnected from beyond how you might be in a world or a feeling or a mood or a vibe of at that moment. Because you know we always change vibes. Even if you end up going past the same vibe, it's like that's just your choice. But you really have access to obtain all the vibes and actually carry it out in your physical life. So in that moment, you might talk to this person and like, goddamn, actually say some other shit. So that's you carrying a vibe. So let's say that and prove the point, because people don't be acting like they know what's going on. But so we're talking about I lost my train of thought, y'all. Let me see. So when we talking about our own perspective, period, beyond what we done thought about or felt about or created, as far as one spirit creates and another spirit that's sitting by it or that's floating by it, whatever you want to think of, a spirit interacting with another will create accumulation that turns to some type of name that we give, is because we're humans and this language fits and we can relate that to each other to understand what's going on. But there's just the energy behind it, as in an intuition that we all feel behind what the fuck is actually not being said, or the vibe behind what the word is. So that's where we all be getting kind of confused and shit. But just remember, it's purely your perspective itself within the whole fact that we can all be aware in the first place. So you think we're all connected, and you use your own mind, your own perspective, because you can't see nobody else's, even if you try to view it from somebody else's, or you done connected, so you think you can actually go to that space and actually view it exactly from the same perspective. You need to know that's your very energy itself. You being able to be your own perspective versus somebody else's. You can even be damn near in the same perspective, looking out from the same vision. But the reality will come in where everything that comes after the perspective, the spirit, you actually start manifesting soul energy behind that, and you actually represent yourself and actually be able to swim or move, quote unquote, which is just go throughout that reality, which is the fucking subconscious and shit, which conjures up the conscious. So, like, when you actually do that, you'll realize that everybody got their own fucking perspective at the end of the day. That's easier said than done, just like everything is easier said, spoken, than actually done, practiced, aka believe it and see it for yourself, see what you have from that, and actually go about talking to yourself, talking to other people, learning more, and then you come to other goddamn shit. You come to other goddamn heart-spoken situations and expressions and all this other shit. Like testimonies and shit. So that shit, I honestly forgot why I was talking about that. But at the end of the day, you got your own perspective and somebody else got their own perspective. So you can't think that just because the world you in, the subconscious that you connecting with, the mind frame you in, mind thinking, period, you think you in this other person's perspective. But no, that's your variability. You should look at yourself like, why are you in the first place even looking at shit like that? Why are you looking at it from an opposite goddamn end? Why are you doing that shit as far as like trying to see it from somebody else's perspective and shit? Because really that just means, it might not be completely your fault. So you as a space creating ideas from that, it might be what you pay attention to, which is the shadow government and the government's way of infiltrating our minds by news, the goddamn television, on all this other shit, business, and all this other shit. So like we look at it from a certain spirit or a certain space by default, using our own spirit, our own space, and our own perspective, basically. So goddamn it. So anytime you looking into all this other shit that, even if you done got out beyond the knowledge, you ain't deciphering a book, you can still convey yourself in a way where you still looking from the perspective of the shadow government, the world you in, the reality of everything, the hell we in, the the backstabbing bullshit put us in slavery. You want reparation. The billionaire 3%. Like that's the people that's doing that to you, and you're looking at their early pure stages of how they even made up what we are following right now, which is a certain frame of mind to even agree with it physically. Some people didn't as they were growing up. They probably might have been in a circumstance of getting in a mental hospital or something that's distant. Not that extreme. Sometimes it can be just like getting in trouble. So a spirit might fall back because it feels like they're getting like they're doing the wrong thing. That's they're in the same world as you and they just trying to figure out shit. So you might be still in the perspective of how those people that casted that upon us, so we automatically cursingly think like we got cursed to think in this frame of mind to view out from the world, and you react and you respond like this. So like you might be thinking about something that you might think that's going on in a situation, and it ain't even going on in another person's mind. It might be going on beyond y'all in the circumstance, the thing around y'all, but y'all don't see it like that. So it's no point of even thinking that you can see it like that. You know what I'm saying? But spirituality, I mean, my bad. I ain't talking about spirituality. But when you meet your higher self, hold on. I need to see the fucking. Damn, I wish I could see the title of this shit. But when you meet your higher self and shit, and when you go encounter what it means to actually have your own perspective beyond the feelings and thoughts and worlds and guilt trips and loves and happiness and all this other things that you see out through the world using your spirit, your space, perspective, you can be inside of your mental. You can be inside of your this type of mind. And it ain't, I don't know why I'm pointing here, but it might seem like you in a mind where you just floating, but really that's just you in a down, up, left, right. You might be in a different perspective within yourself. That's it. Like you just in a different perspective because everything don't revolve around these eyes, which is why people that's deaf and can't see through these eyes can still live. Because there's other ways that they can interpret things that's going on and not just rely solely on these eyes, which means you got mental, you got things that can express themselves and see out, period, through a certain perspective, which is one of your worlds, which is one of your fucking chakras, your fucking intuitions, all of this other shit you want to call it. This is you being able to see from that perspective. So, for example, you can be in your passion where you might be in a lower perspective, but you think you still seeing out from like your sun sign when you was birthed at, the time you was birthed at, and where the sun was at. We all give attention to the sun, so that's what you're going to see. You might see beyond all these other things like your moon. Feel me? That's why I'm into astrology, because that shit is just a way of systematically putting yourself in a perspective of able to plan out and draw out for yourself how and why you react and see things a certain way, and all this other shit that you end up manifesting in your life, which is a whole bunch of goddamn conjured up expressions that you put out to the world or within yourself externally, and you end up manifesting that. You end up having that shit infest, and you identify it with, so you end up having that being sucked into your space, end up being attracted to your space. So goddamn it, y'all niggas listen. It ain't none of that other shit you talking about higher self. Or if you talking to God. Because people like to think it's you talking to God through your higher self. And it's like, no. It's just your ability to relate as a spirit, to understand and give it up that you must have had others to do it the same as you. As in the spirit, like I've been talking about, the perspective, your lighter self, and know that other people can do that too. We just sometimes be in the same exact space where you think you can see it from another person's perspective, but no, it's just because of desire and what you actually relate to. So you might get colored in, you might get into that space unless you're able to actually be aware and actually cut off that and just see it for what it is, which is you just are in that perspective, but it's still you. It's all you though, baby. You know what I'm saying? So that's it, man. That's that. You mean your higher self, then you'll actually get to source, or you actually get to the all, of knowing that, damn, everybody else around me is doing this too, but my life is in my hands. I can actually tell people things, put things on people, but it's actually if the spirit agrees with it in the first place. Because you might get away with subconscious things you get tied to, so the energy of it, but after the fact, when you get aware, so awareness is yourself, but you can also tie it to the all, because it's like two sides to everything. It's always two perspectives. It's always positive and negative. The positive is you your own self. You made an image of your own self. Last time I checked, you can't see and actually feel exactly how somebody else feel. You can be in the same perspective, but you can't exactly do that. So that's how you know you gotta motherfucking understand that that shit is all just perspective and it's all point of view, and take that in all types of realms. Just because you can't see the spirit, just because you can't see your perspective, just because whatever you're looking out towards, whether you look up, down, left, right, you can't actually swift behind and look at the like where you was at. You can't do that, because that's just like, it's nothing from there. It's nothing. It's just you perceiving, but you ain't no fucking imaginary character looking. When you look back, it's just nothing sitting there. So that's what lets you know the space, perspective, location that you are spiritually, spirit, space, place of perspective, place of reference to actually create or emit an actual world or actual frame of mind and shit. But just know, when you actually get to that point, you actually realize how your spirit itself makes things up. And you'll realize, oh, since we all are all, you damn sure gotta be in that all perspective when you're physical. You gotta just actually try to connect if you want to do that. You gotta actually try to distance if you want. Because you'll realize at the end of the day, you're on your own path from a birth sense, from a perspective itself, and you need to do what it do that fits and fulfill your own spirit. And you can't do that for nobody else. You can't be too selfish where you're just in your own nowhere and you ain't got no other spirit giving you teamwork, because at the end of the day, teamwork would have helped us all call this the all, the source in the first place, the all, the circumstance, the God that created it all, right? We had to all be aware individually. There wasn't no all fucking somebody, this magic hand told us exactly how to live the right way. No, it took us as a perspective to be born itself to know how to live the right way. And that's what you got these damn names and titles of politicians that dictate all these damn people that influence us to be flunked out. But yeah, I forgot my goddamn phone about to die. Be flunked out as a whole. You know what I'm saying? So that's the shit right there. You know what I'm saying? Just meet your higher self and see how you move as a spirit, how you swift through the spirit realm, how you swift through the perspective realm, how you swift through left space, up, down. You slip to the left, you feel like you a little like distant, but you can slip to the right. Like, it's just like that. We all simultaneously living in that, because you can already get to that right now. If you in a body, you can obtain the subconscious realm, the conscious realm, and the spirit realm. It's just 3 layers of what we all are. And there's different many low goddamn cases. Shout out to Dolo. Shout out to Uriel. You feel me? It don't go no goddamn further than that. But yeah, shout out to Reflector. Y'all hit me up for these readings and stuff. Alright, I just got cleared up. I was doing too goddamn much. Like with planning other stuff that I'm a part of. But yeah, I'm open for readings again. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all that got readings for real. You know, I go deep and I might talk a little too much sometimes. But it's all good, because it's all for, you know, for you to play it. Hell, you want to get your money's worth, right? So, yeah, man, I'm out this bitch. It's the Reflector. Here to reflect what you choose to neglect, man. Shit. Shout out to that nigga Titus, for real, though. Forgot if I didn't already.